Hey everybody, it's Dan with Pain For You. Today's topic is going to be the most important thing. Okay, and I'll get to that in a second. You take a couple of nice, relaxing, stress-relieving breaths. I don't know if you can hear it, but the cicadas are back. This is the first time I'm hearing it, so I guess it's the right time of year. So hopefully they don't bother the audio for you guys and gals. Anyway, the most important thing. Sorry, another couple of breaths. Get yourself nice and relaxed into a great state. So the most important thing, as we know, fear is the fuel that kind of perpetuates and keeps these symptoms persistent, right? And I always say, nobody ever got better by freaking out. And I always say, shift your mindset, get your mindset to indifference. Like, I really don't care, right? Because if you really don't care, how afraid are you? Not very. And I always say, shift your focus away from the symptoms, right? And we wouldn't be able to turn away from something if in fact we truly believed it was dangerous, right? You're not going to be able to turn away from a grizzly bear standing in front of you because that's really dangerous. So if you're unable to turn away from the pain or the other symptoms, you're sending a strong message to the brain that that's dangerous and you are in danger. And so do you think it's going to let go of the pain? So the most important thing is to learn and teach yourself that you're actually okay physically. You don't have a structural problem, you don't have neurological problems, you don't have damage, you don't have a botched surgery, you don't have some medical label that some doctors have given you. I hear the CRPS, the pudendal neuralgia, the trigeminal neuralgia, I hear occipital, migraines, I hear all of these medical labels. And when you look at it, just if you're not sure if you should let go of that medical label, ask yourself, how have their treatments helped me? Have they helped me, or have they traumatized me further? One person today just said, 5 countries worth of doctors literally going around the world trying to figure out what's going on with her. And that did nothing more than make her worse and terrorize her. She actually used the word terrorized. And so when we realize that TMS is really a stress response in our body, right? That's what it is. And we end up with pain or other symptoms, digestive, immune system, you name it. A wide variety of symptoms. If it's a stress response and we're stressing out about it and we're fearing it, it's going to continue, right? Because the stress response is not going to turn off with a lot of fear. So the most important thing is learning to turn down that knob of fear and bring it down and stop worrying so much. And we really, fear is the fuel, anxiety is the fuel, worry is the fuel. And for anybody who is an anxious person, by nature, it's going to take a little bit extra effort for you to turn down the fear. So your next question, I'm sure, is, okay, Dan, great, I get it, but how am I supposed to not be afraid of it? How? Tell me how. And so it all starts with the beginning. What is TMS, right? Go back to Sarno. Go to the video I've got at painforyou.com. Go read Ozanish, Schubner, Nicole Sachs. Any of the TMS books should give you the knowledge as to what is TMS. And when you realize it's either a distraction or a stress response in our bodies, and that there's nothing physically wrong with us, even the craziest, weirdest neurological symptoms will let go. When you teach your brain, you're not broken. And oftentimes, when the fear drops, symptoms drop. And that is perfectly understandable. Doesn't happen all the time, right? Because there is an emotional concept that we need to feel our emotions. And I think a lot of people get very hung up on the fact that I got to feel all these horrible emotions. And I've got to connect all of the emotional dots, and I've got to do all of this stuff. And they're completely ignoring the fact that they really need to embrace what TMS is, and that is actually what's going on with them. And so all the emotional work, all the journaling, the journal speak, the verbal journaling, the open house for your emotions, all of that emotional stuff, while extremely valuable, is going to do very little if you are still petrified or terrorized by your symptoms. All right? And how do we turn it down? Again, I know that's your first question is, we got to go back to the knowledge. We've got to say, does this make sense? Have you done the assessments? Have you connected the dots? Do you know that, yeah, my pain or symptoms started right about this time when there was a whole bunch of emotional turmoil going on, like a perfect storm of stress, and the stress response starts, and then we go to doctors and we get scared more, and we get, in this word, terrorized, in that lady's words. And you can understand that as the fear builds up and up, people go, well, I'm getting worse, I'm getting new symptoms, it's moved, but now the original one's still there, and I'm getting worse and worse. Right, and the fear keeps on climbing and climbing and climbing. And that's why it keeps on getting worse and worse, because we become more and more afraid, more worried, more catastrophic, more anxious about all of it. And if the fear is the fuel, you're literally going and dumping, piles and piles and piles of wood on the piling, going, how come this isn't going out? And here's an example. I mean, this is not my property, but right back behind me, I've got this whole wood pile here. They used to burn fires here. And, somebody said, oh, you should burn that. And I'm thinking, nope, I got too many trees up above it. But that fire would burn out of control because there's so much wood there. Fear is the fuel. So when I say the most important thing for you to do is to spend the time necessary to use knowledge, your cognitive thinking brain, to say, yes, this makes sense. I'm not broken. It's all just TMS. It's all just a stress response in my body. And when I can turn down the fear, the stress will turn down. And when you turn down the stress, the chemicals, the adrenaline, the cortisol will also come down. Your nervous system won't be quite as on high alert. And without the fear, you're not staring at this grizzly bear going, oh my God, right? You are not doing that. And so the most important thing is learning that you're actually okay. Deciding. So yesterday I did a video about the power of decision. You really need to decide, I'm okay. And as bad as it hurts, as distracting as it is, as much as it feels that these symptoms are stealing our life away, and we're missing out on everything else that should be, more important, but we can't, the sooner you're able to use knowledge and acceptance to turn down the fear, the sooner you're going to get better. And I will tell you, I talk about having a mindset of indifference. And people say, I don't know how to be indifferent. It hurts so bad. Probably there's still a lot of fear remaining. And so indifference becomes a lot easier when you go, oh my God, I'm so much better. Whew. Right? And I tell you to shift your focus away from it so much. Why? Because of neuroplasticity and the way the brain wires and unwires based on where you place your focus all the time. People say, how am I supposed to not focus on the pain? It hurts so bad. Well, we can choose our response. We go, it's no big deal. I know it's just TMS. It's okay. My body's fine. And then choose to shift to something else, right? So turning down the fear helps make the entire process easier. Turning down the fear of the symptoms also makes the emotional discovery process easier, because we're not so, wrapped up in the symptoms, and we can actually say, all right, I'm going to dive into some of these emotions, do whatever process suits you. But fear also fear of the emotions can also keep us a little bit stuck because we're going to be resistant on doing the emotional discovery. And you also hear me say a lot, we want to soothe ourselves, we want to calm our body down, get out of the stress response into rest and recovery. Well, how well is that going to work if you're freaking out with fear, anxiety, and worry about these symptoms? Do you think you're going to relax? No. But if you can learn to know deeply in your head, your heart, your gut that you're actually okay, soothing is going to happen more naturally and it will come easier. And when you're not racked in fear, your thinking also slows down and calms down. So, the most important thing is learning through knowledge, assessment, acceptance, soothing, accurate thinking, not catastrophic thinking, which is picturing the worst case scenario of something that's not even happening right now, but accurate thinking, which is, it's just TMS, it's just a stress response in my body. And my ultimate goal is to turn down the stress. You do that by turning down the fear, and this whole thing kind of comes together really, really nicely. So the most important thing, I hope you guys got that. Turn down the fear. Decide there's nothing to be afraid of. Look at it accurately. If you're staring at that grizzly bear in the woods, but then you realize, oh, it's a cardboard cutout and it's just a couple of pieces of wood behind it holding it up, you're going to be able to have the fear drop. You'll probably curse the person who put that cardboard cutout in the woods, but the point of the matter is, once you realize that TMS is a stress response and it's kind of like a cardboard cutout of this bear in the woods, and it doesn't really have any teeth to it, no claws or teeth, that it's just really a stress response. And when you learn to turn that down, you can literally learn to eliminate your symptoms. This whole process takes on an ease and comfort, and you learn that this stuff doesn't really matter. What matters is living your life, going back to what brings you joy, purpose, and meaning, connection with others. So I hope you guys found this useful. I really do believe that fear is the fuel. And without fear, the brain's not going to continue to keep things going. Remember, danger signals means the pain is going to go up. Safety means the pain is going to come down. So what does fear tell you? Danger. So I could go on and on. I hope you guys got the point here. Please let me know what you think. Please comment below. Share this video widely. If you know somebody who is struggling with chronic pain, send them this video or send them to painforyou.com, where I kind of go over an intro as to what causes pain, what makes it chronic. It's about a 20-minute video. So with that, love you guys and gals. I will see you in the next video. Take care.